Hi, I'm Melissa. I'm with the East Bay Core Project. We're building fertility. The idea behind it is that we are eventually going to have it written on. Basically, they can write anything that they'd like, but the idea is that we would want to put things like the challenges and difficulties and struggles dealing with humanity, and then in the branches and the canopy, people will be able to write affirmations and hopeful things, you know, from the struggles and and the grounding and all the difficulty. You know, and then it kind of branches out and we get the hopeful aspects and the things that we're all inspired by. This particular project is really amazing because a lot of us didn't know each other before doing it, and we're able to come from all over and just say, well, let's come up with this one idea. What does this represent? Why are we here? You know, why is this our region? What are we inspired by, and what is so amazing about it? Getting to know new people, bringing a community together, and for an idea. I think the core projects are really amazing because it not only represents a specific region, but it brings the people together to really dig in and say, well, why? What is it about this region that is so special to us? I think the thing that sticks out in my mind about fertility in particular is that for me it was my first year working on the core project, although it was the second year for the East Bay, and I was really looking for a community to get involved with and a project to be a part of. What I remember is just how amazing the community became. It grew, you know, from the first year to the second year, and it continues to grow. And I mean, I've made a bunch of friendships. We had a really amazing time on Playa, and the satisfaction of the effigy itself was really fantastic. And that's the reason why I came back again. Dan has been great. Dan is our architect and our project, or our build lead, and he's been helped. Him and Chris Webb are the two that are really spearheading the build, and the two of them, it's been fantastic. I mean, Dan is a great architect, and he did such a wonderful job of creating a schematic that works for people that don't necessarily have experience with building. So he made it in small enough parts that we could put together this effigy without any necessarily background in building.
I started going to Burning Man in 2006, and I went for a few years. Really excited about it, really blown away by it. Really wanted to get involved in a bigger project. And so in 2010, I came back and I got involved with the East Bay Core group, they were the East Bay Burner group, and met some of the people that were working on the Trojan Horse for 2011. They needed a skill set that I had, an ability to sort of take a conceptual design and make it into something you could actually build. And it was an amazing summer of building that. That really got me excited about doing more Burning Man projects. And so the following year I got involved with the Anubis project and fertility. And there was a lot of crossover between East Bay Core and the larger projects, the Anubis and Trojan Horse. And so when it came to this year, I really wanted to be the conceptual artist as well as the practical artist, come up with a big idea and also figure out how to build it and get it done. The East Bay of the San Francisco Bay Area is actually it's a special place. It's very different than what we call the city, San Francisco, or the peninsula. East Bay is kind of its own sort of vibe. We're very multicultural. We're very lot of big art scene. You know, when rents got really expensive in San Francisco and warehouse space was really no longer affordable, people started to move to Oakland. You know, one of the influences for First Home was definitely about sort of these native grass huts here in East Bay that the original Californians used, as well as sort of this cargo cult, the tropical hut. So it's kind of a hut form that we're working with. But I really, having had some years on the Playa, really just, the light out there is really amazing. So I really want to kind of play with the light, with the dark and shadows. And so we developed this structure that then we overlaid with this pallet wood, some of it quite used, so it's broken up, and we get these to get this great kind of light strikes coming through the material, coming through the walls.
We're pretty far along. It's already the end of June and we are into skinning. So basically we built the foundation of the structure and we are skinning the roof panels, which are going to be walkable, and then we're using old pallets. So we're collecting a bunch of pallets. We've had a lot of volunteers, people bringing pallets, which has been really great, and we're going to need a bunch more. I think in total we're going to end up using 100 or 200 pallets, tearing them apart, and then we're skinning the walls and the roofs, and we've already got the center column built, but the next step is going to be the stairs on the inside, the spiral staircase going up to the top, and those are our main structural elements.
We're really trying to use repurposed wood for all the entire exterior of the structure, which requires us to gather all these pallets and break them down and reuse the material. And we were really having a hard time gaining any momentum and gathering that material. But this last week, several of our members really stepped up, and they're kind of catching the fire of gathering the material. And so we had a major upswing in our material supplies this week. So I'm really excited about that. We got this great group of people that come out here, like, give up there every weekend. I mean, these people have been here every week since the first part of May. So we've been going, actually longer than that, middle of April. So we've been going almost 10 weeks at this point, and the same people keep coming out every weekend, and everyone's having a really good time, and they're really appreciative of the design and their ability to contribute. A lot of times these projects, they need a fewer high skill kind of jobs done to get them done. This one is really designed around a lot more lower skill jobs, so that anybody that wants to can pick up a hammer or a staple gun and go to it and contribute to the project. So it's first weekend of July. We've got about 7 weeks to the playa, and we've done some remarkable progress on our wall panels. It's looking fantastic. The woven wood look on the exterior is coming together really well. We had a major influx of material this week, so that's really helped us kind of pull this thing together. Really good crew here, and they got they're just going. We aren't even doing it. Panels are just going up like crazy. It's going up so fast. So we've been working on figuring out the roof panels and getting roof geometry together. Yeah. Geometry is a little complex for building out a recycled material, so there's some little issues we're working out as far as like the layout and how to make it actually all come together, but it's nothing we can't do, and it's looking really great. It's actually better than, again, I know I keep saying this, but it's actually looking better than even I thought it was going to. I think we were still drinking beer in Berkeley at this point. I don't think we had anything on the ground yet at 1st of July last year on the core project. It was a little, it had fewer large pieces. It was a little less involved than this one is. So one of the reasons we started as early as we did this year, because we wanted to really have time to, get it done. Well, at this point we've scheduled 2 weekends for disassembly, truck loading, and cleanup here at NIMBY. And then we'll have, I think we have 3 full days for assembly on playa. It should come apart pretty fast. I mean, it's a bunch of big panels. There are some little pieces involved in the crow's nest that are going to be a little more involved in disassembly and then reassembly. But the majority of it is these, 64 fairly large panels, and that comes apart pretty fast. Well, there's no such thing as being prepared, because you never know. But if we do get dust storms, well, I should say when we get dust storms, we'll be able to wait them out, and then in the time we have available, we'll put it up. And once you're on playa, you start doing stuff late into the night anyway, because it's cooler and under light. We don't need the full 72 hours to actually build it, so if we have that time, we can take breaks for dust storms and all that kind of stuff. So as long as nobody gets, panel gets blown over on anybody, we should be fine. Always a concern of mine. As an architect, I am trained to be paranoid of the ways people can hurt themselves with buildings. So doing anything for Burning Man is pretty counterintuitive to my profession. Not to mention the fact we built something to burn it down, which you just don't do for a house or anything, and build it to burn it down. So I am always very concerned about safety, both for construction and for the participants when they're climbing on it. And there's a lot of that built into this. Is, you know, fairly significant factors of safety in every area. You know, you can't, of course, plan for everything or anything someone might do, but we do the best we can to make sure we don't, like, you know, intentionally hurt anybody. We started putting up the roof panels, and we realized that some of them had been sheathed on the wrong side. They've been sheathed upside down, and the angles are really important, so if they're upside down they don't fit. So we've had to check each roof panel as they go up, determine whether it's upside down or not, and then if it is, remove the sheathing and then reapply it to the other side of the panel so it's correct, so the angles are correct at that point. It's just trying to figure out this geometry. It's a reasonably complex concept, so the pieces have to go together fairly precisely, and you know, we're working with, you know, volunteer workers who are really enthusiastic, but maybe don't have all of the, you know, have all the experience. So it's just taking some effort to sort of wiggle it around. But that's what this is. It's a community-built project, and we're really happy about everybody really not minding actually redoing things to make it right. So we're doing really well. I'm really pleased with our progress at this point. The party? Oh yeah, well, the 27th of this month we're having a big party, and the goal is actually to have the structure substantially complete with the crow's nest up and all the lighting in place, so that we can really celebrate this community work that we've got going on here and show it to the larger community, and a bunch of plans for very playa-esque Burning Man type entertainments with fire dancers and drag racing and some other things, so it should be really fun.
Hi, I'm Taxi Jack. I'm with East Bay Corps, and this year we want to have a lot of fun at our fundraising parties. So since I have pedicabs, we want to do a drag racing party in which we take my pedicabs and everyone dresses in drag while we drag race. And it was a great fun event. The safety third has always been safety third, yeah. I think you have a lot more fun when safety is not the first priority, and it was pretty evident. We expected crashes, we wanted crashes, and we didn't have quite the crashes we expected, but we had a lot of crashes. There you go.
Packing the truck went really well. We had a lot of crew out. Most of our, you know, normal crew, we've had so many people helping out, but we had a bunch of people show up yesterday, and we had a little bit of a scare. We almost didn't have the truck, but worked out, and so we got started. And I'd say maybe in about 5 hours we had the bulk of it packed. People are getting worried and, oh, what is it going to be like? And really we're only going to know when we get out there. So, you know, we kind of just prepare for all situations and accept the fact that Burning Man sometimes throws curveballs, or always throws curveballs, and it's just about dealing with it. So we're not too worried about it, getting the project up. Yeah, I have actually driven out a few times to Burning Man in larger vehicles. The last one was with the dance company I used to manage, Archidream, and we took a large van with a large flatbed carrying an art car on the back of it. I drove that from Philadelphia out to Black Rock City, so this shouldn't be so bad. When we actually got here and started building, it went really smoothly because of the way that Dan had designed the structure. It was easy to piece together with all the panels. We had a good team and a lot of energy, and so it went up in about 2 days, the main structure. We were a little concerned about the storms and the rain that we were told were going to happen, but the structure wouldn't have been disturbed that much by it regardless. We didn't have too much electronics, so the first day when we arrived there was some rain, but we were still getting everything set up, and then after those first 2 days we were fine, and so we kept building, and the weather's been beautiful since.
My name's Chris Webb. I'm lead builder on this project, on First Home for 2013. My role really is to move the job along, to make sure that the right parts are in place, the right tools are in place, and that we have people that understand how to use them to put them together. We give a lot of effort to creating sub-pieces that can be done repetitively by people who are minimally trained. So we made lots of panels that people could skin individually and make lots of mistakes on, and also make really beautiful, sometimes on purpose and sometimes by accident.
Well, last night we had a party over at our effigy. A lot of our NIMBY friends, including Airpusher and Boz, and another one of the ships and one of our Bumblebee friends all showed up, and we had a really great time sort of reconvening after having done so much work at NIMBY building our projects.
From East Bay Regional, 4-piece.
Okay.
Give it away.
Dan Swain is the architect, designer on this one. We call it First Home. Not just people that help build it, but these are like contributing artists to this project.
Yeah, and I mean the whole thing about the core projects, having it be a community element, bringing communities together. We did it just within our own core project, and then by being at NIMBY with the other artists in the area, because we're very fortunate to be in an area where we have so much art going on.
When I first came to Burning Man, you see so much incredible artwork and you see a community, but I'm fortunate to live in the Bay Area to where it's really year-long. So I got a chance to get with other like-minded burners and create something in the East Bay.
I've lived in the Bay Area off and on for like 12 years, most of 12 years, and I've had a very difficult time finding connection in the Bay Area. And you know, when I showed up there to start doing the stuff for Build, I don't know, it just fit. Everything clicked, right?
Delicious and nutritious.
We have been looking at all the core projects today, and this is one that stands out for both of us. I would live in that. I would live in that structure because the Fibonacci sequence is very powerful.
This piece is really cool because, you know, you go inside and it's so interactive. It feels like you just have a shelter, soothing music playing, there's places to sit, it's very comfortable. But then you can also, you know, climb up it, which who doesn't want to climb things at Burning Man? You can sit and look out at everything that's going on. It's very it's serene.
Yeah, so I was just at the temple, and it's very heavy, very heavy inside. You know, people are crying, you're reading about people's loved ones, you think about your own loved ones, and it's a lot on your mind. And I came out of it, and I was really looking for a place where I could have some quiet time. I could kind of, you know, organize my thoughts and just be at peace for a little bit. And I remembered this art piece from yesterday, so that's why I came out here. I found a nice place to sit, very quiet inside, and I just got to kind of, you know, control my thoughts and think about my emotions coming out of the temple, and it was a great experience.
And it's an amazing piece of architecture. I don't know how they built it to withstand people walking on the roof and going up the middle, and it blows my mind.
Of my time. I was here the other day, and I left the necklace. I lost my sister about 3 weeks ago to cancer, and it was unexpected. So I had made these pendants, and it says, "I think of you today." And somebody's taken it. So I'm going to put another one here, because tonight's the burn, and it is for her. I was here as a docent yesterday, most of the day, talking about it, but you know, when you lose something, somebody takes it, they must need it more than I do right now. So I'm going to put this one up again, a different one, same thing, but just different because somebody took it, in honor of my sister. And now I'm headed out to the temple to write my sister's name in many, many ways that she was called. She was Jennifer now when I was a kid, then Jenny, then Jennifer, then Mama to my niece, and Mom, and Nana. And it's been hard, but I think she would have been really proud I was here. She was proud I was here last year. So it was important for me to come here today.
So it's Thursday morning of Burning Man, and it's burn day for the effigy. We have this first truckload. We got 2 truckloads like this. This is scraps from the build and some other wood that we've gathered that we'll be loading into the structure to burn along with it. One of the things we need to do is make sure the thing burns completely, and given the shape of the structure, we need to get the exterior walls going, especially. So we're gonna have some extra wood in there to get the fire going tonight at 9 o'clock. In addition to that, there's going to be we were getting a pallet of hardwood, firewood, that'll be loaded into the bottom of the column. And that's actually where we're going to start the fire. And that'll create a chimney effect that's going to suck a lot of air into the spiral. And we're really hoping that as the air spirals into the structure with the fire and the heat, it's going to come out in a vortex or fire tornado, if we're really lucky, out the top of the structure.
And who gets to light it?
Actually, our fire lead, depends who actually gets to tip the bucket and light the whole thing first, but Sergio's our fire lead. Last year, the person who actually lit it was the person who won it in a lottery, in a fundraising lottery. We didn't do that this year, so I don't know, maybe I'll get lucky and they'll let me do it. But that's yet to be determined.
Building shelter when we found materials which had available.
What's it made of?
Well, this is all pallet wood, so all this skin comes with pallet wood.
My name is Sergio Moraiu, and I'm the fire safety lead for First Home. Well, I'm a firefighter. The thing about being a firefighter, it isn't the act of putting out the fire, it's organizing the chaos. So that's why you call us to solve your problem. So that's why you want us to come up with a plan to anticipate problems and be able to shift gears and react accordingly. All fuels have to convert to vapor, and then that vapor has to mix with air, and then it can ignite. So you have to bring knowledge of at what temperature different fuels convert to vapor. So wood is relatively high, around 1100 degrees, and the petroleum fuels are much lower. That's why we're able to operate cars in Alaska. So you have to apply that, and the amount of energy that the fuels burn, when they burn, how much energy they release. So you have to make some estimations, and based on the estimations, you can predict where the fire is going to go and where the most fuel degradation is going to occur. So, and with that, you can predict the implosion of the structure.
We're doing it in 2 places because if we pour it from the top, I can't guarantee we're going to get fuel to run down here. So the tubes, 2 places. We got 5 gallons on top of that, and then last but not least, I got liquid shortening. Just drizzle over all this stuff.
Okay. All right. So
you can mix the fuel and you can sprinkle shortening, but we can't.
No straight gas. No, I'm not going to pour any gasoline on until everybody's out. Yeah, so the shortening we're going to put on now.
Yeah, you can do the shortening now.
We have a command structure, roles and responsibilities. We have to make sure everyone's indoctrinated what the safety procedures are. We have to submit a safety plan to the org and get it approved. And then and the last thing is the actual security, the men and women they're putting out there to staff the perimeter line. And this year's going to be kind of unique because most perimeters are pretty static. You're out there, the thing falls down, and the perimeter goes away. We have some contingency plans if our structure stays up longer than our neighbors, where we have to convert our perimeter. So we're going to have to rehearse that so we're not fumbling out there in the dark.
Yeah. Am I emotionally prepared to burn this thing down tonight? Yes, I am mentally and emotionally prepared. It sounds like a boatload of fun. I'd like to play on the structure still for another week, but this is far preferable to taking it home.
Oh my God! Why are we here?
Clean up ashes. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. First home burned thanks to us.
Nice.
Like this. No, you just pull this thing. I don't know why.
Well, so yesterday, if you looked at our project compared to everybody else, we had the most mass out there, so I bet the farm we were going to be the last one standing. In reality, we came down just as fast as the flimsy light ones, so I don't have a good explanation for it. I don't know if it's the fuel that we put on there, but came down faster than planned.
According to Dan, it was soaked in accelerants.
Well, Dan's scared. We had some accelerant was for theater. We had a spiral on the outside that was it was added later because we couldn't reach the top. We didn't have a stick long enough. So some of it, even though it looked big, it really had nothing to do with the direct center of the core of the burn. But we used 10 gallons of mix of diesel and gasoline, and the thing imploded exactly as planned, right through the center. So pretty happy.
It was a beautiful burn. I mean, the interior started glowing, and then we got the light through the exterior sheathing. The diagonal lines were just, you know, it's beautiful, sort of sparking, flamey sort of colors, and then the whole thing lost its exterior skin. For a long time it was just a fire with this frame around it, really beautiful, until the central column finally dropped, and then the walls dropped in the middle, and then there was a great bonfire all night long. People were watching it and sleeping around it, and it was great. I mean, everyone always asks the question is, why do you burn such a beautiful thing? I had somebody, you know, before the burn yesterday come and ask me, you know, offer to actually take it, you know, to take First Home down and ship it all at his own expense to some piece of property. And the idea of watching this thing sort of fade and rot away on someone's back 40, it's not what it was built for. It was built to go up in a blaze of glory, and I wanted to see that happen, and it did. It was spectacular. So at this point we get to remember it for all its beauty. We don't watch it decay. We get to remember for its beauty and the great fire it created and the community we created with it. And then it's almost like a clean slate to move on. You know, it's like you can now, that's done, it's gone. We had this wonderful experience, and now we're in a place where we're ready to like think about what do we want to do next, because it wasn't just this thing we built, it's also the community we built that built the thing. And now we still have the community. That didn't go away. That's actually even stronger for having experienced this.
And I think the next thing for East Bay Core is planning for next year. Everybody's already enthusiastic and excited and wanting to get started on planning, trying to decide exactly what type of project we're going to do. There are a lot of ideas out there, and definitely the energy is there, so I'm excited to be part of it next year already.
Hi, I'm GATORCAT. I was the volunteer lead fundraiser for building First Home. That meant that a lot of times on Saturdays I'd walk downtown in a cocktail dress and high-heel heels and make sure my hair was totally blonde, and hit up every bar I knew because we had a wine tasting and silent auction. It was incredible that we saw the support from the community of the East Bay, the South Bay, and artists everywhere to put together a silent auction, a wine tasting. We had wine bottles, but it also took about 5 months out of my work. Out of my time. I was the pusher and shaker and yeller about raising money, and it all worked out well, but that was the drama part. Other than that, everybody worked cooperatively, creatively, and beautifully. So that's my story. Thanks.